It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show. Hit you with the no delay in my progress. All the time struggling, only further my conquest. Looking to the future, I wrote and printed the concept. Posted to the net, but that's just a piece of the mindset. Brand slow balling, I'm snowballing, get back to work. Got your favorite companies watching me, but they never chirp. Big names, all of my stories, I see them studying. I probably could have helped them. I guess they stuck in they stubbornness. This shit is jokes. Independent living did it with the quotes. Been a hidden hand, sending lyrics, and it's been remote. From the home set up, these jokers, it's known beggars. You nothing without a squad. I'm fixing my phone settings. The lyricist, supremacists, the penmanship is limitless. I'm building businesses, aiming again since I've been in this. I'm 007, been cold since '07. How I do it? I was home alone, Kevin. Goal setting, but now my goal setting, commentating. They fixating, light from the hand, the pins rating, forget waiting. I hit record, then I hit record. If a nigga play me on the mic, then I choke him with the cord, yeah. I'm sacrificing money here with every verse, giving punchlines to these rappers when I said it first. Preaching to the choir, giving facts like we in the church. I'm just praying for the day, start to reimburse. True prerogative, they blew the entire budget, they do it. Minor discussions, I'm zooming in higher uppers like Mr. Nolan, we should get this rolling. Tell me what you need, a check, pause, semicolon. I'm tired of the games, fanning the flames, I'm making a change. You don't value what I'm bringing, then it's not an exchange. Only resolution I'm worried about is 4K. If you really want to party with me, then set up the play, bitch. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there this Thursday. Doing this video a day late, and I'm glad that I am. Y'all know yesterday we got the full J. Cole interview with Cameron on Talk with Flea. And J. Cole pretty much opened up about everything, gave in-depth answers, answered questions before Cam could really get to it. Some people call it a vent session. Some people don't like that J. Cole is long-winded. Me personally, I actually appreciate the fact that J. Cole is coming out to do this media run, letting people know all the answers to the questions that they've been wanting, because for the last 2 years, people literally asked J. Cole, when you gonna speak on it? Say this, say that. And now the answers that he's given, I feel like he's answering the questions, but I don't think people are necessarily satisfied with the answers, right? And some of the answers that he's given, I'm not completely satisfied with, or, seeing eye to eye with some of the answers, right? But I do think that some of this stuff is being taken severely out of context, which only drives home some of the stuff he said, although I don't agree with him completely in terms of the Stan stuff, or Drake just being disparaged at some ungodly level, like Kendrick Lamar isn't sharing in that same level of critique from people that don't like him, that take Drake's side. I do not like the narrative that one person is being attacked and the other isn't. That I don't agree with. I don't agree with him on that. And I didn't agree with Jay-Z when he made his point about that. Some people say, oh, well, he did also say something about the kids being brought into it and the wife and all that. Yes, I understood that. I covered it when he said it. However, the amount of time, the depth that was actually elaborated on in terms of those pieces, they were spoken about differently. You know what I'm saying? And I just personally do not like the idea that Drake is being unreasonably harassed and Kendrick Lamar is just out here untouched. You know what I mean? I just can't. I've covered too much on my channel to be in agreement with it. Now, in the interview, J. Cole talked about the lawsuit with Cam, his his first thoughts, and like his intention of still doing doing the podcast interview with Cam despite the lawsuit. That was always his intention, so he says. He gets into the actual moment of putting 7-minute drill on might delete later, the reason why he did it, the reason he took it off, all of that good shit. He talks about the culture attacking Drake and all that different shit. We're gonna get there. He speaks about the Diddy fight briefly. He doesn't go into details, but he says that all the stories that we've heard surrounding that particular situation have not been 100% accurate. Okay. And in him saying that, he says, even though Punch was there, he wasn't there for the entirety of it. Some people are attacking J. Cole for saying that. But Punch literally said, you know, he kind of walked in to J. Cole and Diddy having a back and forth. So he wasn't there for the entirety of that issue. He said that they had a pre-existing issue before him and the TDE guys showed up, and then they got to squabbling. And that's why he said that it was not over necessarily Kendrick Lamar, right? But Punch saw the footage and he called cap on J. Cole. So what parts he feel are cap, we'll have to see if it ever unravels. He spoke on Roc Nation, spoke on, you know, the process of getting his masters back and how they were gracious to him despite people always pushing a narrative that he's at odds with them or that they're in a very bad place. He actually spoke very highly of the company and how they gave him an opportunity that most artists don't get in order for him to get possession of his masters much sooner. So all of these things were talked about. I'm going to actually show the clips. I'm not going to watch the entire interview. I told y'all if it was over an hour and a half, I'm not going to sit here and just watch the whole thing from top to bottom. And I'm sticking to my word on that. It's been a day. So we're just going to go over the high level concepts that were talked about. All right. So let's go ahead and just start with Kendrick. That's what we all want to know. That's what we all talking about. That's what, you know what I mean? Let's not fucking act like we don't. All right. So here it says, J. Cole says he wanted to diss Kendrick Lamar just enough on 7-Minute Drill to get past the public pressure of not responding so he could move on and drop the fall off, right? And if you saw the full interview, you saw that J. Cole, honestly, in his heart of hearts, didn't want to battle Kendrick Lamar. He didn't want to. So when he says to get past the public pressure of not responding so he can move on, that it sounds pretty self-explanatory to me. If you've listened to 7-Minute Drill, it's pretty self-explanatory in the song. I said it when the song came out. I literally saw people that were agreeing with J. Cole when he said that Kendrick's discography was, you know, To Pimp a Butterfly was sleepy and his last shit was tragic and all of that different type of stuff. I saw people that jumped on that bandwagon and pushed it as truth. I never rode with that. I knew how much J. Cole loved Kendrick's music. I knew how much J. Cole rocked with Kendrick and literally wanted to sign him, but Dreamville wasn't fully established when they first met. So I knew that was just him talking. That was just responding for the sake of responding, because in hip hop, that's what you got to do, right? But unfortunately, things went way beyond it. So let's hear what Cole had to say regarding this whole situation.
And all right, you did your 7 minutes. Let me do my 7 minutes.
Right.
And the whole point of the 7 minutes is like, yo, you can't overthink it. Just let it come. Boom, boom, boom. And that's when I start writing the song that became like 7-Minute Drill, which in my mind, as I'm writing it, what I had already kind of subscribed to myself is like, all right, this is what I do.
Right.
Like, this my nigga. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm worried about what the world gonna say, which is embarrassing to say out loud, but it's true. You know what I mean? Like at that time, because I'm fearful that this thing that I worked on for so long will go unappreciated if I don't. Right. So I'm like, all right, this is what I do.
Right.
Let me say just enough.
Right.
To where it looked like I did, you know, like it looked like I said something. Everything I'm saying to him, I know, and he know it's all survivable. You know what I mean? It's nothing I'm hitting him. I'm not hitting no fatal blows, but it'll be just enough to be like, all right, nigga.
You said something.
Now you gonna come back. I know this is my man. He gonna come back. He gonna say something. You know what I mean? Probably give me a line or two or give me a whatever. Right. And I'm gonna be like, you got that, cool. Now let's get to this album and really fuck him up. You know what I mean? In my mind, right? Like, but mind you, it's a decision made out of like.
I'm gonna pause that there. So remember, at the time when 7-Minute Drill is being made, he's got 2 songs apiece with Drake and Kendrick Lamar that are going on the fall off.
The album is done. The album is ready. Might delete later is the warm up, all pun intended. Before we actually get the fall off. The fall off was supposed to drop just a few months later, right? So the album's complete. It's fully everything. He wanted to end off with 2 collabs each from his big 3 compadres. And then all hell breaks loose. The battle, now we got to come to the square. So for Cole, he's like, fuck. This kills my album. Because now I'm in a position where I got to battle against a nigga that's on my album. I think people are being very disingenuous about how to react into that. They're like, oh, J. Cole, it shows how self-serving he is. He only cared about it because he had the song on the album. You goddamn right he cared about it. He had the songs on the album. That's 4 goddamn songs. What are we doing? What are we talking about, people? If I got 2 songs apiece with Kendrick and 2 with Drake, and I'm speaking hypothetically, and then we get into a situation where this could either end up a fucking all-out battle royale, or this could end up in a situation where, like how it ended up, where it was kind of like 1 versus 2. Kendrick being like, I'll fuck both y'all up. What's happening? Right? So now he's like, all right, this is like Control all over again. Nothing crazy. And he talked about that in the interview as well, where he said Control, you know what I'm saying? It was a shockwave, but it wasn't really nothing said in it that should have been taken like to severe offense. You know what I mean? It's competition. He felt the same way pretty much about like that. He said it's fire. You know what I mean? It was nothing scathing. Only thing that it did was it put him in a position where, damn, I got these songs on my album. These songs is fire. I want to get these shits to the people, but now this shit look crazy. How am I going to drop a song with niggas that's battling and drop a song with the nigga that I got to respond to in a battle? That makes sense to me. For people that act like that doesn't make sense, I'm sorry. You're not being sensible. And that's not a defense for J. Cole. That's a defense for any artist in the industry that's actually in the process of putting out a project. Yes, you're going to think about the well-being of the project, especially the one you've been working on for 10 years. Anyway, he says, let me just keep it light. Anything I say is survivable, right? So he's like, shit, I'll just say, I'll voice what other people kind of been saying, the chatter, the people that don't like him. I bet. Lean into that. I don't feel this way, but I gotta respond. The nigga hit me. What you gonna do? What you gonna say? Let's not act like y'all niggas cannot act like we didn't live through this shit and niggas said, what the fuck is J. Cole gonna do? I came on my platform and said, what the fuck is J. Cole gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So, yes, you can dislike him. You cannot like his answers. You cannot like his mindset. But existing in the real world, I totally understand where J. Cole is coming from.
Non-clarity. Right. But through that non-clarity, it seemed like my best option, right?
Right.
Boom. We put out Might Delete Later 2 days before Dreamville Fest, and that song is last, right? We just throw it on there. Boom, boom. The second it comes out, and I'm seeing the right away what I did. Right. Instantly, what I did was like, oh, you instantly divided off rip. You created a dividing line.
Right.
Where you forcing the world
to pick a side.
And to, if they fuck with you, they gotta slander him.
Right.
And they taking some of the shit you said, thinking it's survivable and thinking it's just some light shit, boom, boom, boom.
Right.
They taking what you said and they giving it gas and they giving it light. And then my thought becomes, oh, fuck. I done fucked up. I done misrepresented myself.
Right.
I done
That wasn't your intention.
That wasn't my intention.
Right.
My intention was some bullshit, honestly. Right. My intention was...
Now, I'm gonna be honest here. I feel like J. Cole is too hard on himself. Again, this is my opinion. I'm not piggybacking off of what nobody else is saying surrounding all of these situations. Cause let's be fucking clear, man. Like, we've never seen a battle this impactful. Like with Pac and Biggie, it was a battle, but it wasn't really a battle. That was personal shit. Pac had got shot before a record was even made. So that was always bound to be something way deeper than a battle. He took it out on wax. Jay-Z and Nas, it was a battle. It was messy. It introduced us a little bit to what we have here. People did feel like they had to pick a side a little bit, but let's be real. Niggas was bumping Jay-Z and Nas. Niggas was bumping The Blueprint and fucking Stillmatic the same year at the same time, regardless of who you chose. If you like Jay-Z, you still was bumping Stillmatic, Blood of a Slave, Heart of a King. If you like Nas, you was still bumping goddamn The Ruler's Back, Mama Loves Me, Never Change. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta be honest about how this shit really plays out in real time. Niggas was bumping these albums. Them bitches sold records. But now J. Cole feels like, oh, fuck, I made people pick a side. No, you didn't, nigga. People chose to pick a side. People chose to act the way that people chose to act. You may have been the lightning rod, but it's no way that you would have expected for the fallout that came with that. None of us expected the fallout that came with that. I don't know where the rap stan, the male rap stanism came from. Cause Cardi and Nicki had stans. You know what I mean? Their thing was for years. Stans going back and forth, messy, doxing each other, shitting on each other, jumping ship, the whole thing. That was going on ever since Cardi made her splash. But we didn't really have men in hip hop that had like super crazy stans other than like Kanye. I think Kanye had like the strongest male hip hop stan presence leading up to this battle. Then we got to see how unhinged people really were. You know what I mean? And if anybody feels offended by what I'm saying, only proves my point. And I've talked about the stands on all sides. So I'm not saying anybody, any fan base in particular, but it became a very tribalist type of thing. That's why I always said I'm going to continue to bump Kendrick. I'm going to continue to play J. Cole. I'm not crazy about Drake. Never was crazy about Drake. I listened to Drake, but he went off on his own tangent. He sued. He put the lawsuit out there. He did a whole bunch of lame ass shit that just made everything surrounding his name look nasty. The niggas that he surrounds himself with, nasty. The niggas he continues to add to his crew, nasty. I have a reason as to why I ain't really rocking with that nigga. But with Kendrick and Cole, it ain't all that deep to me.
Was fraudulent to begin with. You pretending. It's like a nigga pull his gun out and like this is my analogy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, nigga pull his gun out and just shoot a nigga toe or something.
Right.
And it's like, I shot him. You know what I mean? It's like my intention. You only did it because you was worried about how everybody looked around you. You know what I mean? So my intention was some bullshit.
Right.
So with your intention being,
and I see people that are saying, oh, look at J. Cole. He got peer pressured into a battle. He's weak. What the fuck did you really want when this shit popped off? Y'all niggas acting like y'all really said, J. Cole, go home, bro. Ain't nobody tell J. Cole to go home. Y'all wanted to see J. Cole come outside. J. Cole came outside. He half stepped on his diss. I criticized his diss for being a half step. He didn't even really like the diss, but he knew he had to put something out there. And now niggas want to bring his wife into it. Yeah, he said his wife cried, but now niggas are making fun of his wife. I don't like that shit.
seeing some bullshit, then me seeing the result of like, oh my God, look what I'm giving life to. And then on top of that, oh God, do this nigga think? Do this nigga, because this music shit is weird and this internet is weird.
Right.
You know, I love these niggas. I really do.
Yep.
But like, bro, I'm not with y'all like this.
Right.
I'm not with y'all every day.
Right.
Y'all not with me every day.
Facts.
If enough headlines go around or enough chatter happens, you might start feeling like I really feel like that. And I mean, guess what? When we was locked in, nigga, I might talk to these niggas once a year.
Right.
Might be 2 years ago by where we just check in. There's no ill will. It's just like, yo, your life, my life.
Right.
So imagine in the space, I'm like, oh, damn, did this nigga really think that I feel like this about it? Like, oh, and even how I'm telling you, it was way heavy. It was like, oh no. Right. Like sink in my chair, like, nah.
Right.
But at the same time, you done did it already.
Right.
Like, I've already done it. I've already like jumped into it.
Right.
So now I'm like, fuck, I got Dreamville Fest coming up. Oh my God, like, I got to go on the stage. These niggas think I'm representing this. Boom, boom.
Right.
So, you know.
All right. So that gives y'all the mindset of J. Cole. And again, you don't have to agree with J. Cole. I understand where he's coming from, but it is what it is. I know I'm going to take a hit for saying what I'm saying in this video. If I wasn't strong enough to take it, I wouldn't say it. So let's move forward with this interview. So here, J. Cole addresses the quote unquote culture. I hate how they put it in quotes like that. And says he hates the way people tried to do Drake. I hope y'all fail, and I'm glad to see y'all fail. It's disgusting. All right. Now, this is the part of the conversation where I disagree with J. Cole. Again, I'm never going to agree with anybody that's acting like Drake is being, you know, scrutinized out of context. Drake is the most accessible superstar in music. You may not be able to get to him just walking outside, but he does everything publicly. He does everything in your face. He wants you to see him. If you don't see Drake for 2 weeks, he's going to do some goofy shit to get the attention back on him. All the stupid fucking photos, all the stupid fucking memes, trolling people, posting their kids, or doing AI images of Lucian Grange's daughter. Y'all remember that shit? AI photos of being with Serena Williams' manager. All this different type of shit. He does that. He opens himself up to scrutiny. He's willing to get shit on as long as people are talking about him. He does it on purpose, damn near. So no, I don't feel like the culture is doing anything out of place with Drake, because if he were to go and be quiet, focus on his music, focus on his fan base, focus on just super serving his audience in terms of music and giving them the music that they signed up for throughout the duration of his career, I think he would have been back on track by now. The only reason why Drake looks so fucked up right now is because he linked into trying to be the villain when that is not his genetic makeup. So he looks crazy.
Culture, which that word is fucking weird, because it's like, nigga, this shit is algorithm based, nigga. This shit is paid campaigns on niggas, positive or negative. But my criticism on the culture is like, ew, like, I hate what y'all try to do to this man. Right. Like, you know what I mean? And I hope y'all fail. You know what I mean? And I'm glad to see y'all fail. So it's like, I hate to speak on it, because it's like, I know they're gonna take it a certain way, but that's genuinely my truth. You know what I mean? Like, that's genuinely my truth.
Right. You just told us how you feel about them being artists. And I don't know Kendrick, a big fan of his music, but Drake's my man. So I totally feel exactly how you feel, what you just said. And it was a good moment for Kendrick, like you said. And I like his music too, I'm a fan, but as Drake being my friend, it was fucked up.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that. So, and so if I put myself in Drake's shoes, even to hear me say, like, I'm happy for Kendrick in a sense. I would, if I'm him, I'm gonna feel like, damn, nigga. But I love this nigga too. Right. You know what I mean? And I don't like that he's doing it with a whole crowd like shitting on you. I don't like that. You know what I mean? But shit, that's not my place to necessarily judge. And if that's how he felt, he had to go with it. You also engaged at the same time. You know what I mean? Like so So,
and let's keep it there. You also engaged at the same time. The whole crowd wouldn't be calling Drake anything had he not taken shots at Kendrick's family. Euphoria was so above board, bro. He warned the nigga to keep it rap, keep it above board. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell no lie about me. I won't tell no truths about you. Kendrick knew exactly the type of games this nigga was finna play. That's your homie. You saw the games he was playing. But when a nigga come back and say, all right, if that's the game you gonna play, I'm gonna show you how to do this shit. Now you want to feel sympathy for the nigga that introduced the game to the actual endeavor. That I cannot rock with. I can't agree with Cole on that. I understand where he's coming from as somebody who's watching his friend get shitted on. I get that part of it. Like, damn, that's my homie and he going through it. Perceivably so. But again, when you sit in the middle of the situation and just watch everything happen and take shape as it is, there's no way that I could possibly feel any sympathy for Drake when he introduced the mudslinging. You introduced mudslinging and I send a fucking rock covered in mud at your fucking skull? That's what it is, nigga. You threw mud. I threw a rock covered in mud, nigga. What's next? What you want? What? You want to shoot, nigga? All right, you better bring your best gun, nigga, because I got a bazooka for your bitch ass if you miss. That's how it played out. So nah, I can't agree with Cole on this piece. But again, I understand his position because he's somebody who has sat in the middle with both. And I do believe that he is happy for Kendrick Lamar. I don't think he's like mad at his run that he's been on. But unfortunately, as somebody who tried to play both sides, and sometimes it's just not wise to play both sides like this, because these niggas have let it be known they don't fuck with each other for years. They've been sparring back and forth for years. So for you to try to act like you oblivious to it or you don't know what's going on, and there's evidence that indicates that you may have played a role in it very early on with the Jodeci freestyle shit, which I understand why Cole would have felt the way to not even be on that list. There's no way J. Cole shouldn't have been on that list at that time. But again, when you play that role, something comes with that. So trying to play the middle, the best thing you could do as the middle person is get completely out the way and not even play with the concept of trying to bring these two together or, you know what I mean? Stay the fuck out the way. There's plenty of people in the industry that know Kendrick and know Drake and probably come around them niggas, but they haven't made it their public front-facing persona to be like outside with both of them like that. Crazy. And that's where Cole misplayed it. You know what I mean? And it's like, hey, if y'all niggas playing games like that and y'all put this first-person shooter and this nigga said this and said that on the record and y'all standing behind it, y'all performing it all over the country, all right, I got one for you niggas. It is what it is. Especially, and again, I saw some people that's like, no, well, it played out like this. It played out that. I want to hear these niggas address it. I don't want to hear your account of what you thought happened based on some other shit or what another nigga say. I want to know from one of or all three of these niggas. We may not ever get an explanation for all three of them. I appreciate J. Cole for stepping up and speaking on it because we may never hear from Drake or Kendrick in detail. But that's what I want. I don't want niggas coming up with theories based on what else is out there. I want to hear from them. But you definitely misplayed your hand, Cole.
But I absolutely hate and have always hated how they try to like do that to him. And I genuinely pray. It's like, nigga, I'm a fan waiting. Like, right. I be telling Eve, like, man, I hope this Iceman shit go crazy and I hope he kills that shit.
That's personally, where you at with them?
I can't even be mad at that piece though. Him wanting Drake to put out a dope album and be able to try to redeem himself publicly. I can't be mad at Cole for saying that. Do I agree with Cole? No. Do I agree with the fact that Drake threw him under the bus in the middle of the battle and he still wants to see the best for him? No, but maybe he took it as, shit, I took a hit. You know what I mean? Both niggas hit me. I put my chin out. However they felt, they're justified in how they felt at the time. But that don't affect how I feel about them. Maybe that's just how he is. I probably wouldn't handle it the same way, but that doesn't mean I can't understand it. I don't like what that nigga said. Now, moving on from the battle talk, because we've talked about this shit for 2 years straight. We now get into Cole talking about his experience being signed to Jay-Z and explains the process of buying his masters. Cole says he caught Hove in CEO mode as opposed to being a fellow rapper part of a crew. I don't know what's going on with my camera, but I'll figure it out.
How was that? How was your experience working with Hove or getting the Roc Nation, being like the first artist over there? Mm-hmm. What was that like for you?
Honestly, bro, I think by that time, I missed the heyday that you got to experience.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Y'all damn near missed it.
Yeah, we caught the tail end of it.
Tail end. Y'all caught when that nigga was probably on his way out. Like, man, y'all niggas have it. Like, I missed the era when it was actually like a real squad and like a real label based off of like a rap energy. So when I caught it, it was straight. I think I caught him on straight CEO mode, where it's just like, all right, look, I'm gonna sign this artist. I'm gonna spend X amount of money on him.
Right.
I'm gonna give him some time in my office and have a couple pep talks with him. Like, nigga, you gotta go. It's sink or swim. Right. You know what I mean? Like, for the most part, I don't think he had the care, and I understand it at this point, to necessarily be like, having his arm around me or coaching me up, which I appreciate, because I prefer the way I got it, which was like on my own for the most part. Other than, of course, just the affiliation with him alone, life changing. Let alone the investment from his company. Right. You know what I mean? Like so. But other than that, trying to navigate the waters of how to blow and when to release or how to do it and bumping my head, that shit was like on me and on Eve and like on us.
Is that part of the reason that you said maybe I don't need to be here after a while and take your own thing to Interscope? Why didn't leave Roc Nation and go to Interscope?
Now, first I went to Interscope with them.
Okay.
Because they had a deal with Columbia.
Right.
And then they deal with Sony was up. So they took me to the Universal on my last, on my last couple albums.
Right.
Then we converted it with Roc Nation from a record deal to like a distribution deal with them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And when that ran out, it's like, yo, we worked something else out. I think they got what they needed up out of me. I got what I needed up out of them. And it's like, it's
Right.
The ownership has nothing to do with it. And I also want to say on your platform, because I think I said it on the podcast we did, but people, that's a very small audience of people that just fuck with me. So, but how I even got my masters back in the first place is because Jay and Roc Nation agreed to switch my record deal over to a distribution deal, you know what I mean? Which gave me a much larger chunk of ownership than I had previously, you know what I mean? Which set me, I just did want to say that because people just think like I just got my master back, but really it's like, I got him back a little early because, one, I had leverage, but also Roc Nation did the right thing and like overly blessed me by switching that to a distribution deal. And I never said that publicly, I don't think. So I did, while you asked that question, I did just want to.
All right. So I don't necessarily think that Cole and Jay-Z are in the best of places right now. They don't seem to be on speaking terms, or, maybe they just don't gel. I think some people just, it's a line of respect, but we just different types of niggas. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But he shouted Roc Nation out and said, hey, they did right by him. Now, of course, early on in J. Cole's career, I think Jay-Z's vision for who J. Cole was supposed to be was a bit different. I'm sure Jay-Z wanted Cole to be closer to another version of him, because that's the level of the music business that he understands. That's the level of music creation that he understands. That's why he wanted him to get in with certain people and make these big hit records, and even said, asked Drake to bless him with one. You know what I mean? Get him a big joint. We need him to knock this shit out the park. He's on my label. He's the first nigga. He wants to be, lyricist of the year, and we like that about him. That's why we signed him. But I want to elevate him from lyricist to making world music. And J. Cole's process of becoming a world music artist was a little bit slower than some of the other artists that were out at the time. You know what I'm saying? So I think during those moments of J. Cole trying to find himself as an artist, and the album got pushed back for I think damn near a year or two, trying to get the right lead single. So he puts out Friday Night Lights and all that shit. Yeah, I think that can create a bit of dissension, and being like, all right, I do it my fucking self, but as I'm doing it myself, let me build my team. Let me build the people that actually see my vision for what it is, because the vision that Jay and them have for me is a little bit different than who I want to be, right? And it wasn't really until 2014, Forest Hills Drive, that we got the actualization of like who J. Cole fully was. It worked out. Nigga super rich, hella successful, did everything you could want to do as a rapper. So whether or not they're the best of friends and going to each other's fucking kids' birthday parties, that shit doesn't mean anything to me. And personally, I do believe if J. Cole would have yearned for that type of relationship, he eventually probably could have had it. Look at the relationship that Meek Mill has with Jay-Z. I don't think that relationship stemmed from Jay-Z just like choosing Meek Mill and, flying to be around him all the time. I think Meek Mill actually wanted that relationship and wanted to learn game from Jay. And of course, his battle with the legal system probably brought them much closer. But it's not like it was a closed door. I just think Cole was a grown-ass man, you know what I mean? Like, he was already an adult by the time he got signed to Roc Nation. He had his own homies. He has his own thing going on. It worked out. And last but not least, we'll get to the J. Cole Diddy thing, because that's also gotten people in a bit of an uproar, where J. Cole said he didn't want to dump on Diddy and kick his back in by putting the story out there.
Like, we hadn't had no problem for years. Even after that, like, It was cleaned up quick and we was in a good spot.
Right.
But Puff was on the song that I had on off season, and like, so we was gonna put it out, thinking like, yo, it's cool. Like, enough time has passed, he ain't gonna feel no way. Boom, boom, boom.
Right.
And then all the shit happened with him.
Right.
And I was just like, nah. It felt like damn near like kicking a man when he's down. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, it would have gave the news in the world more ammo.
I got you saying.
Just destroy this dude.
Yeah, it wasn't a good time to put it out.
It wasn't a good time. So similarly right now, it's like, I want to tell it because it's ill, but I'm like, nah.
But it did happen.
Oh, no, it happened. Yeah.
Okay, got you. We talked, you mentioned a couple names earlier, and...
Oh, but let me say this.
Absolutely.
It did happen, but the stories be wrong.
Okay.
The narratives around it be wrong.
Right. The remixes is crazy.
The remixes is crazy. Like how shit be happening.
Right.
But the remixes is crazy.
Right. Because, people will say it happened, didn't happen. I tell niggas all that, like, when it come to history, not just rap, I'm like, by the time we leave, if somebody get punched in the face in this room, by the time you get to valet, it's 7 different stories of how they got punched in the face.
Facts.
He got punched in the face and his tooth fell out. Facts. Now his nose came off.
Facts.
Like, the remixes of stories, it just be crazy. So no story that's out there has been right, what you're saying. So just so people know.
Even Punch from TDE, shout out to Punch, that's my man, but
Right.
He gave a rendition where I'm looking at it, I'm like, yo, you got a lot of it right, but you wasn't really right there.
Right.
So even what you saying, you either missing details or misrepresented some details. Right. I know the story, and he was right there, but I know the full front to back. You know, I'm sitting in the driver's seat, and that's a memorable night for me. So it's like, I'm recalling that shit verbatim. But even somebody that was there that's giving it, it's like, nah, that's not the full. That's not the full.
I got you.
All right. So there's a couple pieces in here that seem to have people in a tizzy. And I promise this is not a save the J. Cole children video. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like people are being ridiculous in their ingestion of information. So I see people out here trying to say that J. Cole is like a Diddy apologist, or that he's trying to salvage Diddy's name by not wanting to add on to the onslaught of his name. I do not believe that those two things are mutually exclusive. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like him saying them doing the podcast and then seeing the shit storm that was going on with Diddy and the trial and all those crazy lawsuits. Like, there was hundreds of lawsuits, hundreds of fictitious lawsuits that were put on that nigga's name. You know what I'm saying? I was very critical of Diddy on my channel. I don't take none of that back. But a lot of the information that was being put out there, namely by Tony Busby, 200 lawsuits from that nigga's side, were fictitious, false, fake, fabricated, the whole shit. So if J. Cole makes the executive decision to say, you know what, I don't think this is a good time to tell that story because I don't want to add to what's going on, I think ultimately he just didn't want to be a part of what was going on. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my name included in all of this shit. So let's just not put it out there. Let him deal with whatever the fuck he's got going on. Let him, you know, maybe he'll get through it. Maybe he won't, whatever. Once all of this stuff is settled, maybe we can reconvene and put it out at a later time. Who knows? But I think that's, again, the same people that say you should have put it out there. Well, he didn't care about Cassie when she was down. That's correct. You're right. He didn't give a fuck about Cassie when she was down. That shit was disgusting. That shit was fucked up. That nigga, I've said it on my platform numerous times. That nigga deserved to meet his maker for the shit he did. I don't mince my words when it comes to Diddy. However, I can understand why a notable celebrity would say, I'd just rather not talk about it than to be involved in the circus. That's not harmful to me. Now, the other piece, with Punch, he said that, you know, Punch has recounted the story and got a lot of it right, but Punch does not know the 100% details, or I won't say doesn't know, but he hasn't relayed the 100% details of that story. Punch came out and put a cap on it. Here he is in the comments. Punch puts the cap out there. But I would love to know, and who knows what day will come where we actually get the full story on that. But I would love to know what was left out, because I remember Punch has gone on Math Hoffa show. He's also gone on Curtis King's channel and talked about this incident. And he said that there was something going on with Diddy and J. Cole prior to him and TDE and all of them getting there. They were already having a verbal joust. It intensified and then it escalated into a fight. And one of Jay-Z's mans came and started jumping on Cole as Cole was getting his work in on Diddy. Right? Now, again, based on that story, what is missing? I don't know. I would love to know. Maybe Punch comes out and expounds on it now that J. Cole has addressed it and downplayed it. I would love to see it. Will he? Probably not. But I've also seen people interpret Cole's words as saying, oh, J. Cole called Punch a clout chaser. Where in that whole 2-minute video that I just played did he call Punch a clout chaser? He said, that's my man. He's told the story mostly accurate, but there are some details that I know intimately because I was the person in it that haven't been relayed properly. I don't see how that's a problematic statement. And I would love to know, you as a person, if you get into a fight with somebody, you ultimately get the person on the ground, you get stomped out or whatever happens to you, you know what that issue is. How many of y'all are going to allow somebody or anyone to tell the story and perhaps they got most of it right, but maybe there's some things that you understand about the details of that story that don't align with your recollection of the story? Y'all wouldn't say, it's mostly true, but some pieces only I really know. That don't make sense to you? You gonna let somebody else tell your story that walked in on the issue versus you being there the whole time? Again, I feel like people are being disingenuous. It's fuck J. Cole. And because the narrative is fuck J. Cole, any and everything that this nigga has to say is being treated with a fine-tooth comb of, this just makes me hate him even more. This makes me dislike him. This makes me listen to his music differently. If that's the stance you take, that's your prerogative. I don't give a fuck. Please reiterate this 46 minute moment. That's your prerogative. I don't give a fuck. Whether you like J. Cole, don't like J. Cole, don't want to hear his music, all of that, that's your personal choice. I have nothing to do with that. But also, the way you feel has no indication on my interpretation of what's being presented. Again, if you're ever confused, come back to the 46-minute portion of this video. It may be 48 minutes because of YouTube's minute or whatever on the top of the premiere, but once they get all that shit out the way, 46 minutes, you'll come here and understand where J Nolan sits. With all information, all coverage on this channel. Now, I'll be perfectly honest. I do think that this Cameron interview should probably be J. Cole's last. Do I think it's gonna be his last one? Probably not. I would not be surprised if he pops up on Joe Budden. Not because he likes Joe Budden or fucks with him, but I think as a man who's out here trying to share his narrative and be like open and be transparent as possible, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes up there just to catch the feeling of the room, catch the vibe of the room, see if niggas speak on his name the same way that they have when he's not there, and to just try to give some clarity to them in front of them. Do I think it would help his cause? No. Do I think any of this is putting J. Cole in a better or positive light than before? No. Do I appreciate the fact that he attempted? I do. I'm not mad at it. You know, there's some things that he said that I disagree with, mostly in the direction of Drake. But everything else that he said, I don't feel no way about. That's just me though. Let me know what y'all think down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. I will catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace.
Yeah, family over fame in this bitch, yeah. The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'll never politic and the drama be piling on. Father and greats unacknowledged like I'm Bobby Bonds. Conversation with my lady about the paper route. 5 sit bank accounts every day I make it count. They down talking my commentary for hating now. Well, I can take it cause I'm bodying your favorite now, please. I can do this shit in my sleep. I been writing for these niggas, y'all read it and weep. I been fighting these niggas if you speak on the street. I'll turn your birthday party into New Year's Eve. Don't let me take it there. We ain't playing fair. This the ATL, Southside nigga moving furniture like Wayfair. Life on hold, no insurance for your healthcare. Lifeline gone, so you wanna be a millionaire? Well, let me tell you about this world I built. The women I dodged, the niggas that I read for filth. The sympathy calls, consulting for the stacks I built. I had to evolve.